bring in Jennifer Nicol-Victor. She's an Associate Professor of Political Science at the Scott School of Policy and Government at Virginia George Mason University. Welcome to the programme. Thank you for being with us. I was just watching Regina's package there, her report, and it's fascinating that an American citizen who has heritage in Jamaica and India is seen by the Democratic Party as the safe bet.
Well, remember that the last president that the Democratic Party had was also a very multi-dimensional candidate. Barack Obama had both African-American and Caucasian heritage. And it's worth noting that the candidate that the party is nominating for the presidency is an older white male, Joe Biden. And so Kamala Harris is much more of Joe Biden's pick. And I suppose it's accurate, as you put it, to call it the party's pick. And while she was in the running for the presidency, she was one of the earlier candidates to drop out back in December.
Laura was making the point earlier that it's Women's Night tonight, but really it's been Women's Night every night. We have Michelle Obama on the first night with that memorable speech, and then we had Jill Biden last night, and tonight we get Kamala Harris. That's by design, isn't it? What do you make of that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great observation. So one thing to keep in mind is the United States is observing the 100-year anniversary of the federally protected women's right to vote when the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified. So that is happening this election year, I think, is meaningful. But the other thing is much more from a strategic political point of view. The Democratic Party, there's a big gender gap in politics in the United States. And at this point, it's, 8, 9, 10 points gender gap where women tend to prefer the Democratic Party. Democrats know that they need to motivate women and to turn women out to vote in order to win, and I think you're seeing that with some of the convention fare tonight.
They were accused in 2016 of talking to themselves and not speaking to Middle America enough. Do you think it's incumbent on them to do more of that on night 3 and night 4?
Well, to some extent, yes. Although I find these conventions endlessly fascinating, I'm pretty certain that most people who are watching them are folks who are relatively well informed about politics. I'm not sure what percentage. I haven't seen the Nielsen ratings or anything on these. I don't know how well attended they are, but most people who are paying attention to the campaign at this point are political junkies like me. But to your point, I think one of the important questions that needs to be answered over the next couple of nights is what are the big themes that the Democrats are going to be using. They do need a message, I think, that's a little bit stronger than just anti-Trump in order to get their ticket elected to the White House. And exactly what the big questions and big themes are, I think, is something we need to be looking for from this crowd over the next couple of days.
Very interesting. Jennifer, lovely to talk to you. Thank you for sparing us some time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, a little earlier, I spoke with two political strategists allied to opposing sides.